Your realtor should have more than just a lockbox key. I've spent 15 years curating relationships that open doors.
Hi, I'm Dr. Carolyn, and this is Get Your Life, the show where I bring guests on and they tell you all about their lives and their journeys in hopes that it gives you the courage to be you and do you too. Today, I have an amazing guest, former judge and attorney, Shirlyon McWhorter, and she's going to tell you all about estate planning. We're going to talk about wills and trusts and everything we can get in this half an hour so that you can get your life and leave a legacy for your children and your children's children. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Oh man, I am so excited to have you on the show because before the show started, we were talking about how she delivers the content that she gives and she gives it to you straight. So get your pen and pencils and take notes. So, how in the world did you become a judge, attorney, and CEO? What's the process for people that are thinking about going in legal?
So, yes, I am Shirlyon McWhorter, and I tell people the country girl from Wauchula, Florida, small town but that big. So, I decided after graduating high school that I wanted to be a lawyer. I attended Bethune-Cookman and went to University of Florida Law School. After graduation, came to Miami because the goal was to become a judge, to dispense justice is what I used to tell people. So I did a number of things, worked at the state attorney's office for Jan Reno, Kathy Rundle, worked for the Dade County PBA, represent police officers, and worked at a civil law firm before I got the call from Governor Jeb Bush appointing me to the circuit court bench.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So they look for you. You didn't have to look for them. And I think that's a great feeling. That's a testament to the work that you do when
Thank
people
you.
seek you out. So I want our audience to know, what is estate planning?
Big question, right?
Yes.
Estate planning, one is getting your affairs in order. It is about creating a legacy for the people that you love and that you leave behind. And so that includes a number of documents, which most people are familiar with, a will. Also, it could be a trust. Definitely a power of attorney that I think that everybody needs by the time they're 18 years old, a healthcare directive, as well as a living will. And it can include a deed and other documents as well, depending upon what you own at the time that you're living.
Okay, so we're going to go through those. You gave a few items that we need. So let's hit the will first. What is a will?
So a will is a document that you execute advising the court of what you want to happen when you die. And it's very important that your audience understand you're advising the court. Why is that important, Shirlyon? Because your will is going to go through the probate court. The court is going to decide, look at it, read it, and make sure that what you asked to have happen will happen. So, which is, different from the trust that I'm sure we'll talk about.
We'll talk about the trust. Okay, so in the will, like you said, you're telling the courts what you want to happen with your assets. How about, does that include what you want to happen with your kids? Or I don't want to call the kids assets, but what kind of things would you talk about? Like a home, money,
Absolutely.
jewelry, bank accounts?
Everything and anything that's important to you that you want to leave to someone. So there are some things that you wouldn't put in there and it's not necessary, but those things are important to you. Say, usually you don't put your car in there, your personal car, but if you have an antique, right, you may want to put that in there to leave that to someone. Obviously, there are other things that you wouldn't put, but in terms of other things that people would put in there, say I'm a Delta, right? And so I don't want to see a male wearing my sorority shirt. That's for women, because we have seen that. So I encourage people, even those kinds of things, you will put in there who you want to give them to or who you want to take care of to dispose of them when you're gone. And those kinds of things can go in your will as well.
So it could be as detailed as what your shoe collection or your purse collection. Like, how
Absolutely.
much should we put in the will?
It can be. It depends on you and what you want and who you want to have what.
Okay.
Because what it is you're giving directions to the court to say that this goes to this person and this goes to that person. I know my sister's going to want it, but no, it's going to go to my daughter. Because
Okay.
otherwise, if we don't have these things, then there's friction amongst our
Mhm.
family members. And we see that all the time.
Yes, we
So it's
do.
really, really important that people engage in the process.
Okay, so if I want to do a will, I should be thinking of anything that somebody may want to have or anything that I want someone to have, that I want to appoint someone to have.
Exactly.
Okay, so
Definitely.
art and, like I said, shoes, purses, even my wedding rings and stuff like that, I will put that in my will.
Absolutely.
Okay, awesome. What happens if you don't have a will?
So if you don't have a will, you're going to court before the judge. And I tell people all the time, you in the state of Florida, if you live in the state of Florida, you have a will. You may not have put that will together. Maybe you didn't come to McWhorter Law to get your will done, but you have a will because the state of Florida has a statute and it serves as a will for those people who do not do it themselves. And that will says who's going to get what. And it may not be the person you want it to be. So it's really important that people do their own will. So let's just say the state has an order, a pecking order in terms of who's going to get what. You haven't seen your sister in 5 years. Y'all haven't spoken and you don't want her getting anything of yours, but you never left a will and she's your only living, relative. So she's going to get it. So it will start with your spouse, then we'll go to your children, go to your parents, your siblings. And if your siblings have passed away, they're the only ones. It may go to their siblings. So you can see how this could go on, and you can see how this could be contentious. And so it's really important. Again, we can't express enough to your audience that how important it is to engage in the process.
Okay, so I need to have a will. And then you said we're gonna come back to the power of attorney, but how do we determine when it goes to the court? How do we determine who executes it, or who's the personal representative, or who's the person that is in charge of making sure that your wishes are done?
Such an important question. One of the things that happens is the will, who's going to be over your will? You get to make that determination as well. That's your personal representative is what we call them here in the state of Florida. That can be anyone that you choose to serve in that capacity. One thing that you want to do is to make sure that it's somebody who's honest. Make sure that it's somebody who don't have a conviction on their record. If you have a child, he got into trouble when he was in college, he was convicted of a crime, he will not be able to serve. And so what you don't want to do is, well, why? I want my son to serve.
Right.
Well, you may want him to serve, but he can't under the rules of the state of Florida. So if you put his name on there, it's not going to happen. And then you just gave up your opportunity to appoint that person. So you want to find somebody who's going to be honest, open, willing to deal with everybody in your family that you're giving something to. And you want to think about those kinds of things because that's a very, very important position.
It really is an important position. I have found that out myself that not everyone does put the person you think should be in charge or the person you think is the most responsible. Do you counsel them on who they should choose as the personal representative?
So not so much counsel, but we do talk about, the qualifications and what would make a good personal representative. If somebody is so vetted into what's going on and trying to get their part, maybe they may or may not be the best person, right? This person doesn't get along with any of the other family members. Maybe they may not be the best person. This person, you've known them, they not so honest when it comes to things. This person's selfish, self-centered. You want to think about those kinds of things and make a good decision. And a lot of times as parents, when I do trainings, I tell parents they're all wimps, right?
Yes,
They
I
love their
said
children.
punks, but you say wimps. Let's go with it.
They all love their children and they don't want to cause any problems.
Yes.
So they pick, I want 3 people to serve. That's not going to work. right? Usually we ask you to pick a person, the first person, your first choice. If for some reason that person cannot serve, then you pick an alternate. Right. And so you can kind of go down the line, but you do that based on those qualifications.
I love the qualifications. I will just say a lot of times in the culture, in the Black family, a lot of times you'll hear them say, I'm going to pick the first born, or I'm going to pick, as they say, mama got a favorite. I'm going to pick my favorite, but I like the list that you give to go down a checklist and look to see if these people have these qualifications, and prayerfully it could keep you out of a mess.
Exactly.
Later.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna put wimps. I have punks. I'm gonna put. Okay, so what's the difference? What's a trust?
A trust is one of those documents that lots of people are just finding out about in our community, right? And I tell people trusts are sexy. So people come into the office and they all want to trust, right? And a trust may or may not be good for your situation. Your neighbor may have a trust, but that doesn't mean you need a trust. And so one of the things that we do, as you know, our goal and one of the reasons we're here is to educate.
Yes.
We want people to know a trust is that document that does not go before a judge. Right. But you need something to put in it. So if you just have your house, you may not need a trust. Right. I tell people all the time, they look at me like, why don't you want to sell me a trust? I want to give you what you need, but I'm willing to give you what you want. Okay. If you're willing to pay for it.
Right.
One thing about a trust is a trust you pay on the front end. So it costs a lot more. A will you pay on the back end, because when we go to probate, then you're going to need to pay. So with that trust, what you're doing is you're avoiding the probate process. You are appointing also, you serve as long as you're living. We usually do, they're revocable and irrevocable. The irrevocable trust is one that you can't get to. Once you put things in it, it is there for life. You can't get it out. So most people are not doing a irrevocable trust. Most of them are revocable, which means that you can change it if you choose to, whenever you choose to. And that trust, you are the trustee. You are in charge of it. You can decide what you want to do with the things that are in it. You can get mad at your daughter and give it to your second daughter if you want to. Whatever you choose to do, as long as you're living. When you pass away, that trust becomes irrevocable. Now it cannot be changed. Okay, so that's the difference. When is a trust good? Say you have property in Florida and you got property in Georgia also. That's a good idea, because otherwise your family's going to have to do a probate in Georgia. But if we have that trust, that will avoid that. Okay, if you have small kids and you want to leave monies and things to your kid, but they're too young now to inherit them. So I leave for my kid this, and they're to give it at this time. I can put times and dates on them, which is really, really good. Right. And so the key thing about that, again, when you talked about the personal representative, you also want to talk about that trustee who's going to serve after you pass. Needs to be somebody who's honest, maybe somebody who's detached, maybe somebody who may not be getting anything. That way that we're not worried about whether they're going to be fair or not. But you do need to ask those questions.
Okay, so when you do the trust and you're putting like a home or cash, money, things like that. So as you said, if something happens and you want to change it, I don't want that person to get it any longer. Each time you make a change, do you pay again to have the trust revised?
Yeah, that probably with most lawyers you are going to, because that's extra work that they're going to do, right? And so it depends. If you just did this a week ago, a month ago, that's one thing. If you come back 2 years later, a year later, and I want changes, then that's different. Right. So
and then who holds that? Like you said, with the will. So it's kind of like the will, you get it done and then you keep it at home until you need it.
Yes, we will keep a copy, but the original copy that you have, the original, you will keep that. You will maintain that and all of your documents with it. And so what you want to do with it is make sure that you keep it in a safe place. And you need to talk to your family, especially like the personal representative. You need to let them know. You don't have to give it to them, but you have a conversation with them so when the time comes, they're prepared and they're not running around like a chicken with his head cut off trying to figure out where the papers are.
Right. What happens if you want to change the personal representative?
Yeah, you just change them. That's the beauty of it. You get to make that decision. It is your document. You get to make the decision as often as you like. But what we encourage people to do is make a good, sound decision based on a good rationale when you're doing this, rather than, today I'm feeling good about my oldest son. Tomorrow I'm feeling good about my daughter, you know?
Right. Yeah, because things happen. So maybe that person is responsible today and then
Yes.
their life is different. I don't know, I feel like something is happening in the studio. Okay, go away. But um the home, should you put
That
somebody on the home as a beneficiary or on the deed?
Okay. So you can put your home in your trust. In the name of your trust, you'll have that deed. We'll do a new deed rather than having your name on there, Shirlyon McWhorter. It will have the family trust of Shirlyon McWhorter.
Okay.
Okay. So you can do that. It doesn't change anything. Your taxes, nothing will change. Or you could do a deed. And some people come to me and they want a trust. And it's like, okay, let's look at your assets. And we give them a questionnaire. They write everything out. And it looks like, the only thing that's of real value is that house. And we may decide that we're going to let's not put that in the trust. Let's do a ladybird deed. That's what we do at McWhorter Law. There are some firms, and certainly I don't know people to do this, but I know that people have come into my office and it's been done, that will do whatever you ask them to do. My goal is to give you what you need after consulting with you. If I consult with you and I say you only have a house and we can do this ladybird deed, and you say, oh no, I don't want that. I want a trust. I will give you a trust, but I'm going to educate you and share with you the options that you have.
So what is a ladybird deed?
So the ladybird deed is like a quit claim deed. What you do, and the difference is you are putting your loved ones' names on there. And sometimes people come and they got 5 children, which sometimes is not a good idea. But what you're doing is you're taking your deed, your current deed, and it remains in your name and it for your life. It is yours the rest of your life. After your passing, it goes to the other persons that you have on there. They are called remainders. Whatever is remaining in that house, if that house still remains yours, it goes to them.
Okay.
And it goes without probate, without a judge. All you need to do is take the short form death certificate to the property appraiser's office. They change the name and now it automatically belongs to your heirs.
Okay, so they would then put the home into the heir's name?
Absolutely.
Okay. Does every state have a ladybird?
No.
Okay.
Very good question. Only 5 states have ladybird deeds. There's some states like Georgia, they don't have a ladybird deed, but they do have something similar to that.
Okay.
So you check, from state to state. And the beauty of it is you can change it anytime you want. If you decide that Sally has not been nice, she's gotten herself into trouble, let me get her name off because I don't want her creditors coming after me or anything like that. So you can take her name off. Solely up to you.
So who holds the ladybird deed? Is that something that goes to the state? If I wanted to change it, what would I have to do?
No. The ladybird deed is the same place where your deed is right now.
Okay.
And that is in the city, state where you live at the property appraiser's office. And you can go on and look at it. And I'd encourage your audience, for those of them who own property and houses, to go to the property appraiser's page here in Miami-Dade County. Look and see whose name on there. I have a client now who his name is, when he passed away, somebody put their name on his deed that shouldn't have been there. And the heirs had to fight. The other thing is most counties, including Miami-Dade County, you can now go and sign up to have them notify you anytime there's any changes to your deed.
I too have seen that when we had our Building a Legacy seminar and education day. I remember somebody going through that same thing. And sadly, in the state of Florida, we have a lot of scammers, and I have seen things on television when they do the documentary that people have actually put their names on people's homes, did that quit claim deed, put the name on the home. And so then when the people wanted to leave and sell it, their names weren't on the home. So if we sign up for the alert, we would get some information if somebody's trying to.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll be notified.
Perfect. I've even heard of kids doing that too. Sad but true. Signing a quit claim deed and getting the assets. Okay, you said everybody should have that power of attorney at the age of 18. What is it and why do we need it?
So the power of attorney is called in the state of Florida a durable power of attorney. It is good only while you're living. That is really important for your audience because people get them, they do nothing with them, and they give it to their children. They think now that my mom passed, let me go down to the bank and get things changed. It's too late. Your parent have to be living, right? It is a living document. It dies when the signer dies.
Wow.
And that power of attorney, that's for finances. Okay, a very powerful document because if I do a power of attorney right now, put your name on it, I give it to you, you could technically go to the bank and say, oh, my mom signed this and she wants me to take out $100,000. So it has to be somebody, you know, that you trust.
So if I sign a power of attorney and they, if I sign a power of attorney, then they have access to all my stuff from that point that I sign it.
Absolutely.
Oh my goodness. So could you sign a power of attorney and then maybe put it in a safe deposit box or something so they didn't get it?
You could. You could put it under the mattress and never share it with anybody and just make sure they know when you died that it's there.
Okay.
If that's what you want to do. The only issue is if you put it up and they never do anything with it, then it's no good because remember, it died with you.
Right.
It died with you. I had a friend who I ran over to her son's father's house who was dying, and I did a power of attorney, and they did nothing with it. And I explained this to them, but they did nothing with it. House never got into the son's name.
Wow.
And later I was talking to her and I said, you need to do your thing. She said, well, I don't want that power of attorney thing. I said, why? She said, because it didn't work. No, it didn't. It worked.
You didn't work it.
Yeah, you didn't work it. So it's really important that, if somebody's sick, ill, you need to go put your name on something, you can. And even while you're living, it could be both names, so the
person that is giving you the power can also be on the power of attorney.
Well, they're not on the power of attorney because it's already theirs. But that account, say I got a bank account, right? And I say to my daughter, go put your name on the account as well.
Okay, got it.
Right? I'm in the hospital. I can't handle my affairs. I'm in the hospital. I'm, dying.
Right.
Look, go put your name on this account. Go do this. Go take care of my business.
Gives them authority to be able to do that. It's scary sometimes too. Like you said, you have to really trust these people because if they put their name on your account, they have access to all your money.
That's right.
Oh man. Okay. So I know it allows them to pay bills. It allows them to get money and things like that. And I want to backtrack before I get to the medical one. We talked about the will. I know a lot of people that have blended families. How does that work? Let's say you were married before and you have kids and you meet somebody and then they have children and then you pass and your stuff goes to the husband. When he passes, it goes to all of those children.
Prenup.
Okay, get a prenup. Okay, prenup come first and then that will supersede.
If both of you agree to that, you could do a prenup. So that what's yours is yours, when you start and that sort of thing. I just talked to somebody about one yesterday. The mate, he's on board with it. People tend to think that, like, oh, if you love me, why do you need a prenup? No, if you love me, why won't you give me a prenup?
That's my thing. If you love me and you trust me, why wouldn't you give me a prenup? Especially if you both have adult children and if you're not their mom, then let your natural kids have your stuff, let them have their mom stuff, let their dad, it's just like it cuts the confusion. And I just see too many fights and you have to counsel so many people in grief because of those issues. And to me, some people will say, well, why do I need a will? I don't want to talk about, I'm planning for my death. I feel like you're planning for your life so that you can notify the people that are going to get something. You can talk about it. You can discuss, who do I want to have my rings? Who do I want to have my purse? Because we got some nice purses and stuff. So who do I want to have my purse collection? Who do I want? You said don't put the car in the wheel, but who do I want to have it? And I see people fighting over that all the time. Daddy wanted me to have this car, but daddy never said anywhere other than to you that he wanted you to have the car.
Yeah.
Okay. This, like I said, we
Yeah.
need a
There's something I would like to share with your audience in terms of these blended families, because we do, I mean, that's the way of the world.
Yes.
Lots of blended families. And one of the things that will happen, let's say we have a blended family and it's my house. He moved in with me.
Yes.
Right? And we both have children. He moved in with me. I passed. No one can make him move out of that house.
Wow.
No one. In the state of Florida, unless there's a prenup or he signed some kind of agreement that he would not, then he gets to live in there. He gets a life estate, like that Lady Birdie. He gets a life estate until he dies. When he dies, then my children will have a right. They get the remainder of that house when he dies. So he has to take care of the house. He can't let it, go down.
Right.
Otherwise they could go complain and, maybe they could take it away. But he gets that life estate. So again, a reason to have these conversations before you get married. And if there's a reason for a prenup, then let's do it.
And is this just in the state of Florida that he does not have to be on a deed and gets his life estate, or is that everywhere?
Well, nothing is everywhere. Different states have different things,
Right.
obviously. Yeah. And, like in some states, remember, we both own everything that we own.
Yes. it's
Right?
joint- yeah.
Yeah. So, but in the state of Florida, that's kind of how it works. And, I believe, that law probably came up many, many years ago
Right.
to address women, right? So they were not kicked out of homes and we were protecting them with the children.
Exactly.
Well, today it's changed. Sometimes
it
women are
has.
the, breadwinners of the home. So now we're protecting the spouse, not necessarily just the woman.
Just the woman.
Mhm.
Okay, so I hope everybody heard that if you have a home and your spouse moves in, then your children cannot kick them out, right?
That's right.
So you can't fight. Like, my thing is, if education is power. So if we know these things, we can talk about it so we aren't fighting in the end or fighting as someone is sick, because I see so many arguments and disagreements and really sadly families that break up because of this. So tell me, what's the difference between the regular power of attorney and the medical power of attorney?
Okay. So they both deal with different things. Medical deals with the medical, and the durable power of attorney that we spoke about deal with finances.
Okay.
So the medical power of attorney, people sometimes say, Shirlyon, what, they're trying to cut down on the bill.
Right.
I don't really need that. And why don't you need that? Because when I go to the hospital, they give me one to sign, right? You sign a paper every time you go there.
Yes.
But who is that for?
That's
Who
for the
does that?
It
that's for the
protects
hospital.
them.
They're protecting them. And if you go there and say, oh, I want my mom moved today. Well, we need to go talk to our lawyers. We need to look at this, a document that you signed for us.
Right.
You have your own. Then guess what? I'm not running this by anybody. You don't need to run this by anybody. This is legit. And I would like to have my mother moved to another hospital. Okay. Or I'm making decisions on behalf of my mother. I get to make those decisions. In that document, really, really important, is a living will. It's usually a part of that healthcare directive. That will says not whether you want to live or not, but it goes to, for your family, do you want to be resuscitated?
Okay.
Right. And there are lots of people who say, yeah, I want to live as long as I can live. There are other people who say that's not living.
Right.
I don't want to be on any machine. My mother says that there's two things she doesn't want when she dies. One of them is she doesn't want to be on a machine, and the other one is she don't want to be on Facebook because she has some family members. Names some people may see this, so I won't call her name. But like we put a lot of things on the internet, and
Yes, we do.
people don't want that. So again, you make your wishes known. So your family gets to make the decisions for you. And what I want to tell people of color, as I look into the camera, the doctors do not want to kill you. They don't. Some people they want to kill. No, why would they want to kill you? They don't want to kill you. What they're going to do, even if you have this document, this living will that says, I don't want to be resuscitated. In the state of Florida, 2 doctors have to make an assessment and make a determination to say that there's nothing more we can do for you. And even when they do that, they come to the family, right? And they have the conversation, and you say, well, I want to own there another 2 weeks, another week. And they will deal with that with you, right?
Right.
But they're making a decision. And to parents who don't want to do it, Your kids don't want to make that decision.
Right. It's a tough.
So you're the parent. There's a reason they call you the parent. You got the power. You in control.
Right.
So it's up to you. And there's no right or wrong.
Right.
But you just want to decide. Imagine
course.
really quickly, if the son who's never been there, he is
Makes
not
the
going to want you to get, he don't, she trying to kill mama. And you were
Right.
never there for mama, but she trying to kill
But
mama.
all of a sudden you showed up. Hey, you know some money coming. I'm just saying. The other thing, our culture, you hear people say if you are a donor, if it's on your license, they are trying to kill me because they want my body parts. That's another thing I hear, that they aren't going to keep me alive if I sign something saying, I don't want to be resuscitated, or I do want to be resuscitated. They thinking in mind they are not going to resuscitate me because I'm a donor. So they want my eyes and they want my heart and they want my this. So some of this education, I pray, will stop some of those things that we talk about it. So I'm going to say, what are some of the common mistakes that we make in this estate planning? Is it something that I hear people say you can write on a piece of paper and that's going to be your will?
Not in the state of Florida. No, you cannot just write on a piece of paper. They call it a holographic will.
Mhm.
State of Florida does not honor that. Okay. And there's certain things that must be in a will,
Okay.
right? That you need to have there. And if you there's so many things, you can go online and make your will if you
Right.
choose, but you better make sure you're including all the things that need to be included there. There's some things that will make it a self-proving will. So you just turn it in to the court. You don't have to go prove it with witnesses.
Okay.
If you do certain things, have certain signers, things like that. Your daughter, you're giving her the house and you have a son, but you're not giving it to him, and then she's signing off for you.
Yeah.
How does that look?
It doesn't look
And
right.
then he may challenge that.
Right.
So there are different ways and different things you need to do. And even if, you may decide that I don't want to pay a lawyer, but there are lots of trainings and different things like that you can go to and figure out what's the right way for you to do it.
I agree. And I would say Attorney Shirlyon, she is for the people. She is out doing trainings, and you tell people the truth. And like you said, you're not trying to make people just buy up. Buy trust, get it this, get it that. You are telling people the truth. So, as I said, our time has went by so fast. If you had a few things that you would tell people that they just absolutely need to do, what would you give them 3 things they should do?
I would say to your audience, right? And because they're your audience, I'm sure they're doing these things, but I would say to them, 1, engage in the process, speak to a professional about it. I do consultations free. I'm sure there are lots of other people that do. That doesn't cost anything. Talk to people, see what will be good for you based on your circumstances, right? That would be the first thing. The other thing is, and we didn't talk about it, if you have young children, the only way that you can document and say who is to take care of your children should something happen to you is in a will. You have to have a will. So one of the things that we do is usually if you come to me and say, I just want a will, you need more than that. You need that power of attorney, right? We talked about age 18. So I'm going to ask you, we're going to try to do a package for you so that you'll have everything that you need. Really important. If you're going to a lawyer and they're just giving you a will, they're not doing you a favor, right? And on these deeds, make sure that you are putting persons on your deed who's going to be responsible.
Yes.
Right? And the other thing that you need to know is if you have various names on a deed and one person want to sell, the court will likely make you sell that house. So sometimes families are saying, we want this to stay in the family. Your son Junior is going to want to sell.
Right.
So do not put Junior's name on there, because if one person wants to sell, there's a process that you go through with court where your house will be sold.
Wow. Well, that was awesome. We have such great information. How can our audience find you?
Certainly, the quickest, easiest way is you can call us at 800-391-8860. You can also reach out to us at info@McWhorter Law. And that's an easy way to get us. We look forward to talking to you. If you call us and you tell us that you are on this show, we may have some special kind of discount for you. So please let us know.
So you heard it from her. You can call Attorney McWhorter and tell her you saw her on Get Your Life. Again, I'm Dr. Carolyn Edwards. And I want you to know you can get Your Life on all podcast platforms, as well as I will have the replay on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss a show. And remember, in a world where you can be anything, the best thing you can be is you. Until next time.
I know it gets hard to find the light sometimes. It feels easier to hold on to what's been keeping you down. You were made to fly, so now release, let it go. You were made to soar, so just breathe. Feel your power, learn to dance in the rain or the shine. Every step you take is divine.